It was a huge move from the United Auto Workers Union. 8,000 employees from Louisville's Ford truck plant are now on strike. UAW leaders tapping employees on the shoulder to tell them last night it's time to walk off the job. Thanks for joining us right here at 5 o'clock. I'm Shay McAllister. Doug is off tonight. The Kentucky truck plant is Ford's largest plant, and the ripple effects will be felt company-wide. Louisville joins 5 other assembly plants across the country already on strike. That is in addition to 38 GM and Stellantis parts distribution centers where workers have also walked off the job. So let's get out to our crew. They're live on the picket lines, Alexis Jones and Emma Gefter. Alexis, what are you seeing out there?
Shay, what you see right behind me is what has been shown all day, true camaraderie. Ford Kentucky truck plant is joined by UAW, Teamsters, and UPS, all who say they are here in this fight for the long haul. Thousands standing firm on Chamberlain Lane, UAW! Each chanting UAW and making sure their demands are heard.
No truck! It's time for a fair offer and the right offer, not just any offer.
Joe Harlow was one of the 8,700 Ford workers who walked off the job Wednesday night. The group joined the strike after local 862 president Todd Dunn got a call from the national UAW president. Union members originally practiced a picket line back in August for better pay and benefits. Now bargaining member David Firkin says Ford employees are at the forefront, looking for concessions given up in 2008.
We have gave this company a fair chance to come back and give what's owed to us, and they have not come to the table.
Firkin says he doesn't know how long negotiations will take. Until then, he and many others will remain on the front lines.
If it's raining, snowing, sleeting, flooding, some strange reason we have a hurricane, we're going to be out here. We're going to take what they owe us, and I'm proud of each and every one of you. You! One more time!
And workers plan to be out here all night, and in the morning, they will switch groups. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
All right, Alexis, thank you very much. Now, the choice to put Louisville, the plant there, on strike was a strategic one, according to the UAW. That's because the Kentucky truck plant is Ford's biggest plant and one of the largest auto factories in America. Ford officials said this strike carries serious consequences to their workforce, suppliers, and dealers. Because their production system is so interconnected, this will impact 13 other plants. The Louisville-based factory itself generates $25 billion a year in profit for the company. Right now, across their plants, Ford has more than 16,000 employees on strike. Last night, Governor Andy Beshear took to social media to talk about the new strike edition. He said his hope is both sides can reach an agreement quickly and move everyone forward. And Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg also chiming in, saying, quote, both Ford leadership and the UAW can rapidly come to an agreement which is mutually beneficial. More news right here at 5 o'clock. 2 people have been arrested after a fight broke out on a JCPS school bus. One of them hit a police officer. It happened in St. Matthews after school. According to St. Matthews Police Chief Barry Wilkerson, around 5:15, the bus pulled off at a parking lot on Shelbyville Road right in front of the mall St. Matthews. The bus driver told police kids were fighting and even smoking weed on the bus, so she stopped and called 911. Wilkerson said police got that fight under control, but then another fight started when the bus continued its route. When the bus stopped again, parents showed up, and that's when 2 teens, 18-year-old Terrence Belvey Jr. and 19-year-old Nicholas Bird, started fighting with the bus driver. Officers say they told the 2 men to leave multiple times, but they refused. While trying to physically remove them, officers say Belvey hit one of the officers in the hand, and then while trying to arrest Belvey, Bird allegedly tried to pull him away. Belvey and Bird are now charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Certainly felt the warm up when you stepped outside today. Blue skies, sunshine. It's almost like a last little taste of summer there, Ben.
Yeah, one of those little warm ups you get in the fall season that goes away pretty quickly, which it will this weekend. It's going to be a lot more like mid-November by later this weekend. So definitely enjoy for now. 79 and 81 at the airports. Humidity nice and low at 35%. And this nice live view of the all blue sky here with our Belmont Village Senior Living Camp, part of our U of L Health Camera Network, and temps around the region pretty similar here in the upper 70s and lower 80s, and not much change as you look across the entire WHAS11 viewing area. Clear sky over the Ohio Valley, active weather to our northwest. That is a system that will bring in just a little bit of rainfall tomorrow night, but then a bunch of cool air coming in behind that. We'll see that coming up in our full forecast for this evening. 60s after sunset, mostly clear sky for tonight. We'll wake up in the 50s out the door, and then tomorrow afternoon another warm one when temperatures topping out in the upper 70s and lower 80s right before that front begins to move in tomorrow evening with a couple of light rain showers passing on through. If you have some plans to head out to the Jack-o'-lantern Spectacular at Iroquois Park, 70s until after sunset. That's when we'll drop into the 60s with an overnight low temperature down to 57 degrees. We'll be in the 70s at lunchtime tomorrow, and your forecast high for your Friday afternoon up to 82 degrees. Again, we'll track that cool air coming in for this weekend. I'll show you those cooler numbers in just a few minutes.
All right, Ben, thank you very much. Well, a new unity government has been formed in Israel following last weekend's intelligence failure, which allowed hundreds of Hamas terrorists to infiltrate the country and kill at least 1,400 Israelis. Israel is now launching retaliatory airstrikes, repeatedly pounding Hamas targets in Gaza. Officials say they are focused on killing Hamas leaders and their fighters in retaliation for the recent attack on innocent Israelis. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling Hamas an enemy of civilization.
No leader should meet them. No country should harbor them. And those that do should be sanctioned.
In Gaza, residents are desperately searching for safe spaces, thousands currently in UN facilities across Gaza, and the blockade by Israel's military has left the Palestinian people without food, without water or electricity. We're told hospitals are overwhelmed, struggling to treat the more than 6,000 wounded by the Israeli airstrikes. So let's put some of these numbers into perspective. We wanted to show you this. This red line here is the outline of Gaza. It is 140 square miles. We've actually laid it over Jefferson County so you can see just how small of a territory we're actually talking about here. In that space, 2.3 million people are now stuck, unable to leave, running out of food, water, and electricity. And while they are stuck in this small area, Israel has said nothing will be allowed into Gaza until Hamas militants free 150 hostages. Our Ian Hartwitt and photojournalist Nelson Reyes went to a local protest today where student organizers said Hamas is unjust, but so is the treatment of Palestinians.
Louisville Students for Justice in Palestine organized this march on U of L's campus that just got underway. They're calling for a free Palestine. That means no Israelis occupying that territory. The UN recognizes the 1948 displacement of more than half of Palestinians. Protesters say this event, known as the Nakba, led to the moment of war we live in now. Before the march began, we spoke with the organizer, who remained anonymous for fear of retribution. He says their march doesn't support Hamas killing civilians.
While Hamas may be an unjust organization, they are created through the apartheid regime that Israel and Western supporters put in place.
There to condemn Israel's history with Palestine, Jewish American Walter Tillow reflected on the decades-long conflict.
The Israelis have been occupying Palestinian land, been occupying Palestine for 75 years, and they keep shrinking.
With walls and military barriers, Palestine is currently cut off from humanitarian aid.
It's an open-air prison, being locked from land, air, and sea.
Rami Badwan, an American-born Palestinian, shared some of the stories he has from visiting his home country during the summer.
There are tanks that go through my village, and they throw stink bombs in our houses to draw us out, but since we know the consequences of leaving our home, we decide just to take in the pain of that and stay home for our own safeties.
Those we spoke to said the conditions in Palestine are terrifying, and that even before the Hamas attack, access to resources like water were unreliable. Hundreds have died on both sides since Hamas's deadly attack on civilians. Israel continues to retaliate. Hospitals in Palestine are crammed with injured civilians. Medicine there will run out soon without a way to bring more in. In Louisville, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS 11, on your side.
In response to today's protest, the Kentucky State Legislature's Kentucky-Israel Caucus released a statement which reads in part, "While all Americans have the right to assemble and exercise free speech, a public university supported by Kentucky taxpayer funds cannot condone a rally openly celebrating such acts of genocide that could potentially stoke violence against its own students." The statement goes on to call on all of U of L's leaders to denounce that protest.